So we all get that co-living rocks, but where should I be investing in co-living? What city, what state, what areas are best to invest in co-living? That's what this video is about. Welcome back, everybody. Sam Wiegert here, and I'm going to talk about how to make the decision about where you should buy your first co-living home. Now, there's lots of factors that go into this decision, but I'm going to share with you some of the most important things that you need to be thinking about when you're picking a city. A lot of people mistakenly believe that, hey, if I live in San Diego, I just should invest in San Diego. While you can do that, that may not be the best area to invest in co-living or real estate in general for that matter. And a lot of times what I have found is that when people invest very close to where they know, unless they have a very big investor mentality, then they kind of end up doing a lot of the things themselves, which is okay. But if it's in a different state, you almost have to set it up like a business. Does that make sense? When you invest out of state, when you invest where you can't just drive to go fix a toilet, you have to make sure you have a handyman on call and ready to go. So sometimes having it a little further away from you really forces you to build that team that's going to then allow you to scale your real estate portfolio long-term without you having to be crazy involved. Now, for me, I invest mostly in Charlotte and Asheville, North Carolina, but from an early age, I was a business owner. And so I knew how to systematize it. And I can tell you right now, there are homes I haven't walked into for 10 or even 12 years because I've just set it up like a business. And even though they might be 10 minutes from me, I don't go there. But not everybody has that discipline because sometimes it's a little hard to say, well, do I send the plumber for $400 when I could go and try to fix it myself for $50? But long term, you want to be able to build a team around this and make sure these properties are insanely profitable, even if that plumber does have to go for $400, because that means you budgeted your numbers. Okay, so here's some tips on how to ensure that you're investing the right area. Here's a couple things that I look for. Number one is positive population growth. You know, are people moving to the city or are they moving away from the city? I think that's something that you should at least take into consideration because I want to be in an area that's going to get that extra little bump of appreciation, and it's going to do that by having real estate that becomes more valuable. And valuable a lot of times is just based on a very simple supply demand. Are there more people moving that want houses, or are there people leaving and there's going to be a supply of houses? I want to be on the trend where people are moving to. Obviously Asheville and obviously Charlotte, obviously pretty much anywhere in North Carolina has been a really great area for this over the last 10 to 12 to 15 years. Number two, you might want to consider how landlord friendly the state actually is. You know, in North Carolina, we're a pretty landlord friendly state, which means most of the laws kind of skew towards the landlords and making it easy for me to evict people, making it easy for me to get my house back if someone squats in a room or whatever. Whereas in California, it's very difficult, right? A lot of the laws are a little bit more skewed towards the tenants, and there's other states like that as well. I'm not saying don't invest in California. I'm just saying you at least need to take that into consideration. If you're going to be a landlord in a perfect world, I would want to be in a state that likes landlords, not in a state that is trying to hurt landlords or make it difficult to be a landlord. The third thing I want you thinking about is co-living needed in that area? Like, is it needed? You might say, well, sure, Sam, it's a big city, it's needed. Well, I just made a video, I'll put that here or down in the link or somewhere. I made a video about how to test a market to ensure that co-living is needed there and you understand that there's a demand for that. So one of the things we'll look for is, are millennials moving there? You know, what's the workforce housing population? Is there a lot of affordable housing already in that area? And you might think, well, Sam, those seem like pretty complicated things. How would I figure that out? Well, two quick things you could do is, number one, you can call any of the housing authorities in that market. So you could call the Charlotte Housing Authority and you could just share with them, hey, could you please give me an update? How is affordable housing? Is more of it needed? Are you guys flush with affordable housing? I mean, as it stands right now in 2024, almost every major city has an affordable housing problem. And I do not see that going away for at least the next decade or two, or maybe three. So it definitely is not really a huge call you got to make. You can pretty much guess. If you want to put that piece of your brain to rest, then just call the city's housing authority in that area. What you could also do is you could Google some quick stats on affordable housing in Charlotte or affordable housing in San Diego or whatever. And I'm sure you can find a bunch of articles on exactly what the situation is in that town. The other thing you could very easily do is you could fly to that town, or if it's your town, you could walk around. And one of the things I did on a town I was getting ready to invest in, I wanted to see if affordable housing was an issue, is I just started talking with the service workers. I would go out to a restaurant. I'd just say, hey, if you don't mind me asking, is it really expensive to live here? Do you live close by? Do you live far away? And I would just try to get a real feel, on the ground feel. I don't care what article you read or what stats someone puts out. There's really nothing like just going and kind of hanging with the locals for a little bit, or going to a bar and talking to someone that knows the area, that's lived there for 10 or 15 years and probably has different nuanced knowledge. The fourth thing you need to realize before you go pour a bunch of money into co-living into areas, you need to understand, is that area co-living friendly? You know, are they going to fight you if you have 6 or 7 or 8 people sharing in that house? Are they going to get mad at you? Is this going to be a big deal? Or are they kind of like, hey, maybe there's a rule, but we don't enforce it? Or do they not have any rules at all around that? I have a good friend who has 2 9-bedroom homes in Los Angeles. And he just straight called the city and said, hey guys, I'm thinking about having a 9-bedroom home. Are you guys going to get on me for this? And the county basically said, no, we have an affordable housing need. We aren't enforcing any of the rules around the number of unrelated people in the town. And he got that directly from the city. That's pretty cool. And that gave him the confidence to create these homes. And now with just 2 homes, he literally set himself completely free from a 6-figure job. That's a whole nother story, but his name is Dante. He's one of our coaches now, and he's amazing. My point in saying that is that city friendly towards co-living? You know, one of the things right now, Nashville, Tennessee is not really friendly. They're really trying to fight it. Even though they have an affordable housing problem, they're really trying to fight it. They're really cracking down. They're trying to make it really hard. And of course, there's plenty of legal loopholes and ways to fight it, but do you really want to be in that battle? That's the question that you really have to ask yourself. And really, there's 2 more things you need to think about. And the first one is, where can I get the best deals? Like if all my deals in town A produce 20% cash on cash return, but all my deals in town B produce 15% cash on cash return, I'm going to go where there's a little bit more money, as long as it's equal in all the other areas, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go where I can get the best deals, where that's that best price ratio, price to square footage ratio, because those of us that are looking for co-living homes are looking for big homes, we're looking for big square footage homes mostly, right? So you need to be asking, where can I go to get my money's worth? And the only way you can do that is by having a calculator. You can come to one of my 5-day challenges, and during one of my 5-day challenges, we'll give you a calculator for free, and you can plug all the numbers in, and you just have to evaluate. I recommend you evaluate 25 deals in town A and 25 deals in town B. Actually in the calculator, actually put the numbers that you think you can get and the numbers that it's going to cost you to buy it with your loan, all the numbers in the calculator to see what it spits out in terms of what your return is going to be. Once you can compare those 2 cities, then you can make your best choice. Now, the final factor, and frankly, I kind of saved this for last because I do think it's probably one of the most important, is that at least as it stands right now, who's going to manage that property is probably one of the biggest things that you need to think about for co-living. You see, co-living right now is not like single family homes where you could just call up any old company to manage it, and if they don't do a good job, you fire them, you hire another one. No, see with co-living, there's probably 1, maybe 2 options in that city to manage co-living, or you're gonna have to train someone to do it themselves. And so in order to do that, you really need to understand, do I believe in this management team in this city? You know, if you're using PadSplit or one of the big tech companies, Bungalow or Homeroom or whatever, you need to really be thinking, is this the team that I want to manage my property, and do I have confidence in that team? Because if all of the things are being equal, I want to go towards where I have a team. And that's why a lot of the students that are in my Inner Circle program choose to invest with me here in Charlotte or in Asheville, North Carolina, because they believe in my team to manage the property for them and go from there. Hopefully that makes sense to you, and hopefully these tips were helpful as you think through where's the best market for you to invest in co-living. I look forward to seeing you on a 5-day challenge sometime. We'll see you guys on the other side.